Start recording again.
Okay. What the junk?
Love it.
Hey, everybody.
I'm Brad.
I'm Jen.
And
This
you're,
is What the
yeah,
Junk.
yeah, it is what the junk. It's like we remembered to introduce ourselves, but then it got awkward because we're not used to doing that. So, yeah.
Right? It's fine.
So, Jen, what are we going to talk about today?
Well, my friend, big box stores. That bulk buying.
You,
Ooh,
you can get everything in bulk.
you really can.
Yeah.
Like, literally anything and everything. And I'm gonna be honest here. Not that I haven't been honest already. But I kind of have a love-hate relationship with those types of stores.
So do I.
Do you?
Yes.
Man, all right. Well, it's good to know I'm not alone.
I feel like, yeah, like I'll look in our house and I'm like, all right, like we did buy this in bulk, but did we really need to buy this in bulk? But it felt so good.
It's like I'm just set.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm ready to survive an apocalypse that I would never live anyways, but but I'm ready just in case I do
Right.
make it for like 20 minutes. So,
Just got to run faster than at least one person. It's fine.
yeah, no, I think when the internet goes down, that's when
Ooh,
yeah.
ooh,
Yeah.
bunker.
Yeah, that's
in.
a whole another podcast
Yeah.
though.
So anyway, back to that. So, I mean, I have shopped at these stores before, and I honestly don't do it very often because it's just my husband and I. So we don't have kids and a big household that we have to buy for. I don't even have a membership to one of these stores. So totally poach off my parents. Appreciate y'all. But even then, I'm like, I think more recently again too, like I just try to be super intentional about what it is that I buy, knowing what I have room to store.
Right.
And I think that's the part that trick people up, is because sometimes you will go through all of that in a decent amount of time, but where are you gonna put it all? And yeah, I mean, thankfully in my like linen closet upstairs, I have the perfect space for a giant thing of toilet paper. But only one, right? So like I don't buy two, I don't buy three, like just one. But there's people that buy them way more often than just one, and then you just have toilet paper in every little nook and cranny in any closet. And it's like, oh no.
Where you have a basement with just a bunch of shelves full of stuff. Mm-hmm. Just so isn't there's like a show, right? We're gonna have to find this show. There's a show with people who like buy in bulk.
Oh, the couponers.
Yes, the couponers. Yes.
Ooh, that's a throwback.
Oh man, I love that show.
That was good times then. You can get free toothpaste, baby.
Right, and if you're gonna get free toothpaste, you might as well get
5.
Yeah, we're 100. So.
Yeah. So yeah, I definitely have a love-hate relationship with those big bulk type stores. But tell me why exactly. I guess you have some of those same feelings.
Yeah. Well, I think for my family, so we're a family of 5.
Right.
Plus 3 dogs. So
Yeah.
we got a lot going on in this house. And we're really busy, right? So with, running our own business, Jessica does another job on top of her Junk King stuff. All 3 kids are in school. They have activities. It's very challenging for us to find a lot of time to shop. Like we typically don't really have time to shop every week. So we try to use, places with, bulk places, to get like the stuff we know will last. And so that's really helpful because it's not hard to get enough stuff to last a month, right? So, toilet paper, we got a closet down in our basement full of toilet paper, cleaning supplies, food, like all kinds of stuff so that, we can just come down, grab whatever, and we don't have to run to the store to grab like those basic necessities that we need on a regular basis. And so, with our family, I mean, that really helps. I think where my hate relationship with it comes is that it's very easy for us to buy things in bulk, even if it's a good deal that we didn't necessarily need. So then it creates a waste because there's times where we don't use all the stuff and it goes bad. Or kids, like, they change their taste, right? And so I have this argument all the time with them because we'll be at Costco, right? And I mean, throughout Costco, love Costco. Please don't sue us, Costco. But we'll be at Costco. That's our bulk buying preference. And and they're like, oh my, I love, so Z bars was the last thing, right? They're like, we love the Z bars. The Z bars are the thing. And I'm like, all right, well, we're going to buy this giant box of Z bars, right? Giant. More Z bars than any family really needs. And so that was a pretty big investment. I mean, that was like $20 for this like giant box, right? Which per Z bar was a great
Great
deal.
deal.
The problem is my children ate like 6 Z bars out of like the like 100,000 that came in the box.
Right.
And they decided the Z bars aren't the thing anymore. So now we have all of these Z bars, and they argue with me. They're like, "No, no, I don't remember. I don't remember saying that we love the Z bar." I'm like, I did not just go buy the Z bars
Right.
because I felt like eating all of these Z. Like you said, you wanted the Z bars. We're like, well, even if we said like, we don't like them anymore, I'm like, but we financed this house to buy this giant box of Z bars, and like now you won't even eat the Z bars. So now we have all these Z bars that that go to waste, which really don't. I take them to work. My guys, like, they'll eat anything.
Well, great.
So, yeah.
Love that.
But we, there's definitely stuff that gets wasted because we buy in bulk. Then maybe we don't have time to use it. People change what they feel like eating. Pirate's Booty was huge in our house for a while. No, Pirate's Booty apparently is not anymore. Like, in the in thing, and so I think we still have some Pirates Booty down here.
Good
if
to know.
anybody's interested, yeah.
Some of that might go missing.
Oh my God! See, just like the high C, cooler you were drinking earlier today. That
Delicious.
another love the high C coolers, and then we bring them, and for like 2 days we did, and then they ended up in our fridge down here, and then I opened it up to get Jenna water, and I'm like, oh yeah, maybe Jenna will drink this, right?
Like, please,
so
please.
That's my hate is that sometimes something that's a good deal ends up going to waste, and then it really wasn't a good deal.
Exactly.
When the grocery store was a quarter of a mile down the street, we could have bought less of it. We didn't have to store it.
Right.
And the kids probably would appreciate it more, too, because when you think the Z-bars are cool, and then you have boxes of Z-bars in your house, then you just kind of take it for granted versus, it's a treat when we go to the grocery store and they pick these up for me. So that's the hate part. The love part is the amount of time that I save.
Absolutely.
And then like the necessities that we know, like the toilet paper and whatever, right? People are not going to change their preference. They get what they get. Mm-hmm. So, and, so those kind of things really save us a lot of time. Even if it's not a money saver, even if it's the same price per item.
Correct.
It's not the kind of thing that we want to buy every week.
Right, which makes total sense. So I love some of the things that you kind of brought up, is that even if it's a good deal, if you don't end up using it, it's not actually a good deal. Like, it's actually costing you more than if you had just bought the smaller package. So this actually trips me up in the grocery store, too, in the normal grocery store. I remember, I guess, being little and, seeing my mom, like, looking at the tags and seeing, like, how much, like, per ounce something is,
yes.
That cost.
Yes.
And, which, yeah, if you don't know what I'm talking about, next time you're at the grocery store, look at the label a little closer. And so it has the price, nice and big for everybody to read. And then in the tiny print, which you're like, what does that say? It usually has some sort of a price breakdown, like per ounce or per item, in that packaging or whatever. And so I do that, like scope that out, like, ooh, that's 0.3 cents cheaper than that one is. Like, man, not even 3 cents, 0.3 cents.
Right.
But it's like, ooh, and that's, that's a bigger size or that one's smaller, and like kind of do that math. I'm like, but I don't really need that bigger size.
Right.
So like, I even have to like talk myself through that a little bit of like, okay, is it worth saving the 5 cents, whatever that actually totals to be? But if I'm not actually using all that product before it goes bad, then I'm not really saving that money anyway, and I'm just buying what I'm actually using. So whether that's a big bulk store or just a regular grocery store,
for sure,
I think that kind of scenario can come up in either situation.
Well, and I think the other piece too is So maybe it's a little bit better of a deal. So I love coffee, right? I don't
Ooh,
like buying 100 K cups all at one time because I like to mix it up, right? So if I buy like the giant box with 100 of them and they're all exactly the same, by the end of the 100, I'm like, oh, I can't wait to, I can't
try
wait to
something
buy something
different
different,
here.
right? Where so like one of the things I'll look for at the box stores is maybe it's a little bit more
Variety
money,
pack?
but it's a variety
Yeah,
pack,
come
right?
on.
Yeah, and so that way at least like I can mix it up and I can try some different things and I'm not saving as much, but at least like I'm able to mix it up. Just like my kids don't eat Z bars every meal for every day
Right.
because they were good, but now we're sick of them. So
So you just remind me of something else. I think sometimes we forget how fast or slow we actually go through things. So I have some clients that I've worked with, and we're sorting through some perishables that there's an expiration date, and that could be a whole nother conversation. I love
yes.
like asking people, like, so what are your feelings with expiration dates? I just need to know what page I need to be on. Some of them, you believe in, some of them you don't, right? But I'm like, okay, so if this is expiring in a month, and you have 50 of them, how many are you actually going to eat in a month's time?
Right.
And if it's not going to be 50 of them, then why don't we get rid of and donate some of these now while they're not expired? Because once they're expired, I can't donate them,
Right.
right? But if we know that, like, oh yeah, no, in a month's time, I actually will only end up going through like 10 of these.
Yeah.
Okay, then let's get rid of the other 40 and let somebody actually use them before they turn into trash. So I think sometimes when we, again, kind of actually do the math,
Oh yeah.
I don't think it's supposed to lie to you. I think math is legit.
Yeah.
So, yeah, when you actually sit there and actually do the math of like, okay, so if I have 100 rolls of toilet paper, I mean, obviously they don't expire, but do I need to store all? You know what I mean?
Oh
Like,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, I think just kind of like really thinking about how often you actually use a product can almost help you make some of those decisions too of how much should I buy?
Well, and I think the storage space too that you talk about is a key piece to it, right? So like we did a clean out. First, walk into the door, right, and then to the left you got a fridge. Then you have a counter, and you have like cabinets underneath. So all their food was stored in the cabinets underneath.
Okay.
Well, as we're pulling stuff out, everything in the front, was stuff like you said we can donate, right? So everything in
Yep.
the front, recently purchased. It
Yep.
was But then we got into the back of
Ooh,
this,
I'm loving where
and
this is
and so
going.
like literally, I'm like laying on the floor, like pulling cans of stuff
Oh my
out,
gosh.
right?
Yeah.
And some of this stuff had expired like 8, 9
Yeah.
years ago. I mean, like
Yeah.
the cans were like disintegrating,
Right.
and so based off of the storage space they had, like when you're like, oh, I'm gonna eat some chili, you're not like gonna grab the chili that you put in the back 8 years ago that you have to lay on the floor to get to.
Right.
You're gonna grab the chili that's in the front. And so, I think that when you talk about like the storage space, like they didn't really have one proper storage, but also like a,
Rotate.
a good
When
way,
you
but
buy
a good way
something
to
new,
rotate it
you put
though.
it in the back.
Yeah. Yeah. And
But
so
it's hard when it's hard to reach, though.
it is.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, so that was, when we're pulling stuff out, I'm like, well, of course they didn't use this stuff. Like, you couldn't even see this stuff, like,
Exactly.
where it was stored. And so I think it's different than having, like, I think a lot of families have a nice big pantry. They can open the door. You can rotate things easily. But not everybody has that kind of a
Yeah,
space.
I don't.
But you could
Yeah.
load that cabinet full of cans, but
Right.
you couldn't really, like, use it properly. And so I
Right.
think that that's kind of another piece to like kind of look at is what type of storage do I have? How can I rotate things?
Exactly.
My grandparents, they grew up during the Depression, so they were very typical, like they weren't hoarders, but they were preppers, right? So they had canned stuff everywhere. And man, when we cleaned out their house, some of that stuff had expired many years ago, but it was way down in the basement, like to the back, like on shelves, and they were older. They weren't going to go down in the
Right.
basement to
At
get
that
their
point.
stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that is a really key piece, is kind of rotating those things out. But then, like, what kind of storage do you have, and how do you develop systems to create that rotation so you don't end up with the lima beans that are, 10 years past.
Yeah, no good.
Yeah.
Just throw the lima beans out, actually. Just.
Yeah, I probably would too.
Ugh. Never good. do the lima bean thing.
No, I feel bad because a lot of people, when you see what like people donate to food, food pantries, it's like lima beans, cream corn, lots of cream corn.
I've got a really good recipe for a cream corn casserole.
Yeah?
So delicious.
Well, maybe you should post it.
I'll have to find it.
I like it.
It's in my cookbook.
Yeah.
I'll pull it up. Oh, so good.
I put you on the spot now, so now you're like, I'm going to have to go home and find this recipe.
I mean, I know where it is, but
Yeah.
because I have to do it. So. Anyway. So yeah, just, I think nothing about the big box bulk stores aren't bad or good. They're neutral. They're neutral.
They have their place.
It's our relationship with them that defines that. And so things to be aware of is your storage space, how fast you'll actually go through an item versus that beautiful expiration date. Ooh, I bought a thing of Advil once. Yeah, at a big bulk store. I was like, oh yeah, we need Advil. I was like, oh, this is a lot. And I hardly ever take some. So it's like, nope, it's bad. Like, I need to get rid of it. Sorry, this made me think of that. So I didn't do a very good job at that time either of how much do I actually use. So storage space, how fast you're actually going to use something, and knowing who's using it and some of their habits.
Right.
Right. God bless children.
I love them.
They're great.
They are.
Keep things spicy in life.
Yeah. Well, and then I think the other, for me, the other piece too is I do like to try different things, right? And the grocery store is not that far away. And so I think staggering it so that because they have their purpose, right? So using them for their purpose, but not losing sight of, kind of those other pieces. Like we're not going to go buy all of our vegetables from the bulk store because we don't need them. But some people may, right? Some people
I know some
may
larger
go
families.
through, right? Or where maybe, anytime we're doing like a barbecue or something. I mean, I go and get all that stuff there, right?
Done.
Great deal, easy to do. Even if price per head of lettuce isn't like the best, it's easy. Like you get it all like large quantities, but you don't need to do that every week on a regular basis. Right. So, well, this is a great episode.
I hope so.
I think so.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Hey, and who knows? Maybe Costco won't be mad at us, and they'll be like, "Hey, they mentioned us," and they'll throw us some stuff. I don't know. All right. Well, this has been another week of What the Junk.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Oh, and we're gonna try our outro.
Yeah.
Is that what we're gonna call it?
Yep.
All right. So we're going with the same music.
I think so. Okay. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for joining us.